In the far reaches of the kingdom of Eldoria, nestled between ancient hills and endless olive groves, lay a hidden valley known only to a few as Whispering Hollow. The valley was a patchwork of rolling meadows and twisted, time-worn olive trees whose gnarled trunks whispered secrets in the breeze. It was a place both serene and mysterious, a haven for those who sought refuge from the chaos of the outside world. At the heart of Whispering Hollow stood the modest village of Dallin's Rest. Here, simple folk lived close to the land, tending the olives and wheat fields that had sustained generations. Among them lived a young woman named Lyra, a gifted carver whose talent for transforming weathered olive wood into enchanting sculptures was renowned throughout the valley. Lyra was not born into wealth or privilege. Her home was a humble stone cottage with a thatched roof, shared with her aging parents and her loyal dog, Rune. The cottage was a cozy haven, filled with the scent of fresh bread her mother baked each morning and the soft sounds of her father weaving baskets in the corner workshop. Though their means were modest, the family thrived on love, hard work, and shared dreams. Unlike many in the village who saw the ancient olive trees as relics of the past, Lyra believed they were gifts, living stories waiting to be uncovered within their twisted branches and roots. After the fierce spring winds passed through the valley, she would wander the forest floor, gathering fallen branches and wind-felled limbs, searching for pieces with the perfect shape to inspire her next carving. Her hands, roughened by years of work, could coax beauty from the knotted wood, intricate patterns of vines, mythical creatures, and faces that seemed to breathe with life. Word of her artistry had spread beyond Dallin's Rest, bringing occasional visitors from nearby villages like Greystone and even the prosperous town of Vale Haven. However, life in Whispering Hollow was not without its shadows. The valley's remote location made it a favored hideout for the Blackthorn Bandits, a notorious gang of thieves who haunted the outskirts of Eldoria's kingdom. Though feared across the lands, the bandits had an unspoken code: they never harmed the villagers, respecting the sanctuary that the valley provided them. This uneasy truce maintained a fragile peace, allowing villagers like Lyra to live their daily lives with cautious optimism. One golden morning, as the sun cast dappled light through the olive leaves, Lyra prepared for a journey to Valhaven's bustling market. The festival of midsummer was approaching, and with it came the chance for artisans to showcase their crafts to a wider audience. Today, however, her trip held more significance than simply selling trinkets and carvings. A wealthy patron from Vale Haven, Lord Darien, had commissioned Lyra to create a masterful carving, a tribute to his prized steed, a magnificent black stallion named Shadowfire. The commission was both an honor and a challenge, promising Lyra steady work and the possibility to establish her name among the kingdom's elite. Yet it required the finest piece of olive wood she had ever worked with, one that seemed to hold the spirit of the horse itself within its grain. With Rune trotting at her side, Lyra saddled her mule, Bramble, and set off down the winding path that led from Dallin's Rest to Vale Haven. The journey was long but familiar, offering moments to breathe in the sweet scents of wildflowers and to watch the clouds drift lazily overhead. As she traveled, her mind danced with visions of the sculpture she would create: the flowing mane, the fierce eyes, the power embodied in Shadowfire's form. At the market, Lyra's stall was soon surrounded by eager onlookers, enchanted by her delicate carvings and the stories they told. She sold many pieces that day, earning enough coin to buy materials for months. But even amidst the noise and bustle, her thoughts returned to the task at hand, finding the perfect wood. The next days were spent combing the valley's olive groves, searching for that special branch shaped by the winds and time. Her patience was tested, but Lyra's belief in the tree's magic never wavered. She whispered thanks to each fallen limb, sensing the hidden life trapped within. One afternoon, while exploring the farthest edge of Whispering Hollow, Lyra heard the distant clatter of hooves. From the tree line emerged a procession, at least 50 riders, their horses adorned with heavy packs and their riders clad in rugged leathers. The Blackthorn Bandits. Despite their fearsome reputation, Lyra felt no immediate danger. She knew the bandits' code and respected their presence. They moved with purpose, their laughter muffled beneath their cloaks as they made their way toward the valley's secret heart. Curiosity urged her to follow from a safe distance. She watched as their leader, a tall woman with piercing eyes and a scar across her cheek, dismounted and approached an ancient rock face. The woman whispered words unknown to Lyra: "Open, Whispering Gate," and the stone parted like a curtain, revealing a hidden cave entrance glowing faintly with ethereal light. Lyra gasped softly, the magic of the moment thrilling and terrifying her. The bandits entered one by one, the entrance sealing itself behind them as if the rocks had never moved. Torn between caution and wonder, Lyra knew she should retreat, but the allure of the cave's secrets held her rooted in place. Rune nestled close, sensing her conflicted heart. As the valley fell silent once more, Lyra sat beneath the olive trees, pondering the mysteries beyond the Whispering Gate. She realized her life was on the cusp of transformation, and the path she chose next would lead her beyond the simple days of carving wood and tending the land. With determination shining in her eyes, Lyra made a promise to uncover the stories hidden in Whispering Hollow's shadows, and to carve a destiny all her own. The days that followed the mysterious opening of the Whispering Gate passed in a strange haze for Lyra. The ordinary sounds of village life, the clatter of baskets, the scent of baking bread, and the rustling of olive leaves all seemed to carry a new weight. Something unseen lingered in the air, whispering promises and warnings alike. Lyra found herself drawn repeatedly to the edge of the ancient rocky cliffs where the bandits had vanished. She would sit beneath the twisted olive trees, her fingers tracing the patterns of her latest carving, but her mind was far away, tangled in questions she dared not voice aloud. Rune, her ever-faithful companion, seemed to sense her unrest. The dog would rest his head on her knee or nuzzle her hand, grounding her whenever the pull of the unknown threatened to sweep her away. One cool evening, as twilight bled into the valley, Lyra prepared for the monthly journey to Valahaven's market. But just as she was fastening Bramble's saddle, a sudden sound froze her in place, a soft knocking at her cottage door. She opened it to find a stranger standing there, cloaked and hooded, eyes gleaming with urgency. "My name is Kalen," he said in a low voice, "and I come with a warning." Lyra's heart quickened. Strangers rarely ventured into Dalen's Rest without good reason, especially at dusk. "The bandits you saw," Kalen continued, "are more than mere thieves. They guard an ancient secret, one that could unravel the very fabric of our kingdom." Lyra frowned. "I've heard only that they take refuge here, avoiding trouble with the villagers." Kalen shook his head. "There is a power within the Whispering Gate, a magic older than any living soul. The bandits are its keepers, but their loyalty is fragile. Dark forces seek to claim what lies beyond. Lyra's breath caught. Could this be connected to the carvings, the magic she sensed in the wood? She had thought herself just an artisan, but now she felt the stirrings of a destiny far greater. "Why tell me this?" she asked. "Because you have a gift," Kalen said. "A gift to see beyond the surface. You must be ready, for the gate will open again, and when it does, the valley's fate will rest in your hands." As he turned to leave, Kalen pressed a small, worn amulet into Lyra's palm. It bore the symbol of an ancient olive tree entwined with stars. "Keep this safe," he urged. "It will guide you when the time comes." The night deepened as Kalen disappeared into the shadows, leaving Lyra alone with her racing thoughts. Determined to understand the meaning behind his words, Lyra spent the next days preparing. She sharpened her carving tools and studied the amulet by candlelight, tracing its intricate lines. Rune watched her with knowing eyes, as if ready for the journey ahead. Meanwhile, whispers spread through the village. Rumors of unusual activity near the cliffs, of flickering lights and strange sounds after dark. Some villagers spoke of curses, others of treasures hidden beneath the earth. Fear mingled with fascination. One afternoon, as Lyra gathered fallen branches for her carving, she spotted a figure lurking near the olive grove's edge, a young boy no older than 12, with dark eyes and a mischievous grin. "Who are you?" Lyra called softly. The boy stepped forward, bowing slightly. "I am Finn, son of the village blacksmith. I know the stories of the gate, and I want to help." Lyra hesitated but saw the earnestness in his eyes. "This is no game, Finn. It's dangerous." "But I'm quick and quiet," he insisted. "And I've seen things the grown ups miss." After a moment, Lyra nodded. "Very well. But you must promise to stay close and be careful." Together, they explored the woods around the cliffs, mapping secret paths and listening for the gate's whisper. Finn's nimble feet and sharp senses proved invaluable, uncovering hidden markings carved into the stones and strange symbols etched into tree bark. One evening, under a silvered moon, they discovered a circle of ancient stones arranged like a compass, pointing toward the gate. At its center lay a small pool, its surface shimmering unnaturally. Lyra knelt to touch the water, and a sudden chill ran through her veins. Visions flashed before her eyes, shadowy figures cloaked in mist, the clash of swords, and a blinding light that shattered the darkness. Pulling her hand back, she gasped. "The gate. It's alive." Finn looked around nervously. "We're not alone." From the shadows emerged Kalen once more, his expression grave. "You have done well to find this," he said. "But the true test lies ahead. The magic of the valley is awakening, and with it, both hope and peril." As the night wrapped the valley in its quiet embrace, Lyra felt a surge of purpose. The path she had once walked as a simple carver was now entwined with ancient power and looming danger. And at her side, a loyal dog, a brave boy, and a mysterious stranger would join her on the journey to unlock the secrets of the Whispering Gate. The days stretched longer as the warm sun draped Whispering Hollow in golden light, yet an undercurrent of unease rippled beneath the tranquil surface. Lyra, now bearing the mysterious amulet gifted by Kaelan, felt the weight of destiny settle firmly on her shoulders. The village of Dallin's Rest continued its slow rhythm of life, but shadows gathered at its edges. Rumors of the Blackthorn bandits' movements grew more frequent, and strange sightings near the Whispering Gate whispered through the market stalls and tavern fires. Lyra and Finn spent every spare moment exploring the valley's secrets, following the clues etched into stone and bark. Together with Rune, who had grown fiercely protective and alert, they ventured deeper into the ancient olive groves, where twisted branches formed natural archways that seemed to pulse with a quiet magic. One morning, Kaelan returned, this time with urgent news. "The gate will open again at dusk," he said, his voice low. "But this time, the path beyond will not be the same. The magic stirs differently now, it is awakening, and so are the forces that seek to claim it." Lyra swallowed her apprehension but nodded. She had come too far to turn back now. As twilight fell, the trio Lyra, Finn, and Kaelan made their way to the rocky cliff where the gate lay hidden. The olive trees seemed to hush in reverence, their leaves shimmering with dew under the moonlight. Kaelan raised his hands, chanting softly in an ancient tongue. The rock face before them began to tremble, cracks spider webbing across its surface. Suddenly, the stone parted, revealing a glowing passageway that beckoned them inward. Taking a deep breath, Lyra stepped forward, clutching the amulet, her heart pounding like the war drums of old legends. Inside, the air was cool and thick with the scent of earth and something otherworldly. The walls of the cavern shimmered faintly, as if alive, covered in intricate runes that pulsed with light. Finn's eyes widened. "It's like the trees are speaking." "Or watching," Kaelan added grimly. The path led them down a spiral of stone steps, echoing with distant whispers and the soft drip of water. Lyra could feel the magic humming beneath her skin, growing stronger with each step. Suddenly, the tunnel opened into a vast chamber, bathed in silver light streaming from cracks in the ceiling. At its center stood an ancient altar carved from olive wood, its surface etched with scenes of battle, peace, and sacrifice, the history of the valley itself. As Lyra approached, the amulet around her neck began to glow warmly. She placed it on the altar, and the runes flared, illuminating the chamber in a brilliant cascade of colors. Images flashed before her eyes, a time when the valley was a nexus of powerful magic, guarded by a secret order known as the Keepers of the Olive. These keepers wielded magic that balanced the forces of light and darkness, protecting the land from devastation. But greed and betrayal shattered the order, scattering the keepers and sealing their power within the Whispering Gate. The Blackthorn bandits were their descendants tasked with guarding the secret, yet some had grown corrupt, tempted by dark forces beyond their control. Lyra felt the burden of this legacy pressing on her. She was not just a carver, she was part of this ancient story, destined to restore balance. Suddenly, A low growl echoed through the chamber. Rune growled back, hackles raised. From the shadows emerged a figure cloaked in black, eyes burning like embers, one of the bandits, but different from those she had seen before. His presence was ominous, radiating power twisted by darkness. "You shouldn't be here, girl," he hissed. "This place is not for the weak." Lyra stood her ground, heart steady. "I am no ordinary girl. I carry the hope of the valley." The bandit sneered. "Hope? You will be crushed beneath the weight of secrets you don't understand." Before the tension could explode, Kalen stepped forward, drawing an ancient dagger that shimmered with light. "We will see who is stronger." A fierce battle ignited in the chamber, shadows clashing with light, magic swirling around them in a dazzling tempest. Lyra's carving tools transformed in her hands into weapons of power, each strike weaving the ancient magic she was awakening. Finn dodged nimbly, helping to fend off the bandits who began to pour in through hidden tunnels. Rune snarled and lunged, protecting his companions fiercely. As the fight raged, the chamber trembled violently. Stones cracked, and a surge of energy blasted from the altar, sending the combatants sprawling. Amidst the chaos, Lyra saw visions of the valley in peril, the olive trees withering, the land darkening, and the people suffering under the shadow of corrupted magic. But within her chest, a flame kindled, the promise to protect her home, to restore the ancient balance, and to awaken the true power of the keepers. With renewed determination, she rose, rallying Kalen, Finn, and Rune. "We must find the heart of the grove," she declared, voice ringing clear. "It is the source of the valley's magic. If we can reclaim it, we can stop the darkness." Kalen nodded. "But it is guarded by trials, tests of spirit, courage, and wisdom. Few have passed, and none have returned." Finn's eyes gleamed. "Then we'll be the first." Together, they pressed deeper into the cavern, ready to face whatever lay ahead. Outside, the wind howled through Whispering Hollow, carrying the scent of olives and the promise of a new dawn. The cavern's depths welcomed Lyra and her companions with a cold embrace. The faint luminescence from the runes on the walls guided their way as they ventured further into the mysterious underworld beneath Whispering Hollow. Every step seemed to echo through time itself, each breath thick with anticipation. The air was heavy with the scent of moss, damp stone, and something more elusive, a potent magic long forgotten by the surface world. Ahead, the path branched into 3 distinct corridors, each marked by a symbol carved in ancient script: a flame, a wave, and a soaring bird. Kalen paused, tracing the glyphs with a finger. "These represent the trials of the heart: courage, wisdom, and spirit. To reach the heart of the grove, we must each face our trial." Lyra swallowed her fears but nodded resolutely. "We face them together." Finn grinned. "Well, I choose the flame. Seems like a good challenge for someone fast on their feet." Kalen smiled faintly, his eyes somber. "I will take the wave, for the wisdom of patience is mine to cultivate." Lyra's gaze lingered on the soaring bird. Then I shall face the trial of spirit. Rune growled softly, sensing the weight of the moment. Together, they stepped into their chosen paths. Trial of Spirit. The corridor leading to the Trial of Spirit was narrow, lined with shimmering crystals that pulsed with soft blue light. Lyra's heartbeat quickened as whispers danced around her, voices of those who had walked this path before, some lost, some victorious. The passage opened into a vast chamber filled with swirling mists. At its center stood a pedestal holding a delicate, glowing olive branch, the emblem of the heart's true power. As Lyra approached, the mists coalesced into spectral forms, shadows of doubt, fear, and pain. They whispered her deepest insecurities, memories of loss, and moments of self-doubt. Why do you deserve this power? A voice hissed. You are but a simple carver, unworthy and fragile. Tears pricked Lyra's eyes, but she steadied herself. I am more than I seem, she whispered. I carry the hopes of my family, my village, and the valley itself. With that, she reached out and touched the olive branch. The spirits wavered, then dissolved into light, their voices turning into a chorus of encouragement. A warm glow filled the chamber, and Lyra felt a surge of strength, not just physical, but spiritual. She understood now, true power came from embracing vulnerability and rising beyond it. Trial of Courage. Finn's path was rugged and dark, lit only by flickering flames that danced along the walls. The air was thick with heat and challenge. Ahead, he encountered a massive beast, a fire drake, scales glowing like molten lava, eyes burning with fury. You must face your fear, a disembodied voice echoed. Only the brave can proceed. Finn clenched his fists, muscles tense. Memories of his village, his family, and Lyra's determination flashed before him. With a shout, he charged. The battle was fierce, a test of strength and will. Dodging searing flames and crushing blows, Finn found his rhythm, striking with precision and heart. At last, the drake yielded, bowing its head as flames dimmed. The path ahead lit up, and Finn stepped forward, heart pounding but victorious. Trial of Wisdom. Kalen's corridor led him to a serene chamber filled with flowing water and tranquil reflections. A giant puzzle lay before him, an ancient mosaic depicting the history of the keepers, shattered and jumbled. To restore the past, one must understand it, the voice intoned. Hours passed as Kalen pieced together the mosaic, unraveling the story of betrayal and redemption. Each tile placed was a lesson learned: patience, clarity, and foresight. When the mosaic was complete, the waters parted, revealing a hidden passage. Reunited at the chamber's end, the trio shared their experiences, each transformed by their trial. Lyra's spirit shone brighter, Finn's courage steeled, and Kalen's wisdom deepened. But their journey was far from over. As they moved deeper, a sudden tremor shook the cavern. Dust and stones fell, and an ominous growl echoed through the tunnels. From the shadows emerged a dark figure, a twisted remnant of the corrupted keepers, hungry for the heart's power. Your journey ends here, It snarled, eyes blazing with malevolence. Lyra gripped her carving tools, Rune growling fiercely beside her. The battle for the valley's soul had truly begun. The cavern trembled beneath their feet as the shadowy figure advanced, a twisted echo of the ancient keepers corrupted by dark magic. Its form flickered between solid and smoke, eyes glowing an eerie crimson that pierced the dim light. Lyra tightened her grip on her carving tools, which now shimmered with a faint, ethereal glow the magic awakened in her trials. Rune growled low, teeth bared, while Finn crouched, ready to leap into action. Kalen's hand rested on the hilt of his glowing dagger, his face a mask of fierce determination. The corrupted keeper spoke, voice a harsh rasp. You seek to claim the heart of the grove, but only I can wield its power. Leave now, or be consumed by the darkness. No, Lyra said firmly, stepping forward. The power belongs to the valley and its people. We will protect it. With a snarl, the shadow surged forward. The battle unfolds. Magic crackled through the air as light and shadow collided. Lyra summoned the energy of the ancient olive trees, her carving tools transforming into twin blades woven from living wood and silver light. She moved swiftly, guided by the spirit of the valley itself. The corrupted keeper retaliated with blasts of dark energy, swirling shadows that sought to consume everything they touched. Finn darted between the shadows, using agility and quick thinking to distract and outmaneuver their foe. Kalen chanted spells of protection, his dagger tracing glowing runes in the air, shielding his friends from the onslaught. Together, they formed a circle of light and hope amidst the encroaching darkness. As the fight raged, Lyra felt the amulet warm against her chest, pulsing in time with her heartbeat. She closed her eyes briefly, reaching deep into the well of power granted by the heart of the grove. A surge of pure energy erupted from her, a wave of golden light that swept through the cavern, forcing back the shadows. The corrupted keeper shrieked, recoiling as the light burned away the darkness clinging to its form. With one final strike, Lyra's blades pierced the heart of the shadow, which dissipated into wisps of smoke and silence. The aftermath. The cavern grew still, bathed in soft luminescence. The altar glowed with renewed life, the ancient magic of the valley flowing freely once more. Exhausted but triumphant, Lyra, Finn, Kalen, and Rune gathered around the heart of the grove. The olive branch on the altar shimmered, responding to their unity and courage. Kalen smiled, placing a hand on Lyra's shoulder. You have proven yourself worthy, guardian of the valley. Finn grinned, eyes shining. Looks like we're not done yet. There's more to this story. Lyra nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility but also the hope blooming within her. The valley was safe for now. A new dawn. Emerging from the cavern, the first rays of dawn painted Whispering Hollow in hues of pink and gold. The ancient olive trees seemed to hum with gratitude, their leaves shimmering like stars. The village of Dallin's Rest slowly stirred awake, unaware of the battles fought beneath their feet. Lyra looked to the horizon, the amulet glowing softly against her chest. The path ahead was uncertain, filled with dangers and mysteries yet to be uncovered. But she was ready. For the light within her burned brighter than ever. The victory over the corrupted keeper felt like a breath of fresh air, yet the valley's peace was fragile, a fragile thread woven through centuries of secrets and sacrifices. Lyra knew this was only the beginning. Back in Dallin's Rest, whispers of change stirred. Strange symbols appeared overnight on ancient stones. Villagers reported eerie melodies carried by the wind, haunting, melancholic tunes that tugged at the soul. One morning, as Lyra prepared her tools beneath the olive branches, a shadow crossed the village square. A stranger cloaked in deep violet robes stepped forward, his eyes glinting with cold intelligence. "I am Malric," he announced, voice smooth yet cutting like a blade. "A seeker of truths, and a bearer of warnings." Lyra's heart tightened. "What do you want?" "The heart of the grove has awakened," Malric said. "And with it, forces long buried beneath the valley stir once more. The balance you fought to preserve teeters on the edge of ruin." Finn, standing nearby, narrowed his eyes. "Who are you really? Friend or foe?" Malric smiled thinly. "That depends on your choices. But heed this, shadows darker than before creep ever closer. The Blackthorn bandits are no longer mere guardians, some among them hunger for power that could consume us all. A rift among allies." That evening, Lyra, Kaelin, and Finn gathered in the flickering firelight of her cottage. The atmosphere was heavy with unease. "We need to find the true keepers," Kaelin said. "Those who have remained loyal and might aid us against the corruption." "But how?" Lyra asked. "Their lineage was scattered centuries ago." Finn leaned forward, excitement mingling with concern. "I heard old stories from my grandfather, hidden sanctuaries deep in the Emerald Forest, where the last keepers retreated." Lyra's eyes sparkled. "Then that's where we must go." Rune barked in agreement. Journey into the Emerald Forest. The next dawn, the trio set out, leaving the familiar olive groves for the dense, shadowed embrace of the Emerald Forest. Towering trees blocked much of the sunlight, and every sound seemed amplified: the snap of twigs, the distant call of strange birds. As they journeyed, Malric appeared once more, this time at their side. "I will guide you," he said. "But trust is earned, not given." Lyra was wary, but the stakes were too high to refuse help. Along the winding paths, they faced perilous trials, treacherous ravines, illusions conjured by restless spirits, and cryptic riddles guarding the entrance to the keeper's sanctuary. Finn's quick reflexes saved them from a sudden ambush by twisted forest beasts, their eyes glowing unnatural hues. Kaelin's wisdom unraveled ancient puzzles carved in moss-covered stones, unlocking hidden doorways concealed by magic. Lyra's spirit, strengthened by her previous trial, held the group together, her resolve unwavering. The sanctuary revealed. After days of travel, the trees parted to reveal a secluded glade bathed in ethereal light. In its center stood a circle of ancient stones, inscribed with glowing runes, pulsating softly like a heartbeat. A figure emerged from the shadows, a woman draped in silver robes, her hair cascading like moonlight. Her eyes held the calm strength of centuries. "Welcome, seekers," she spoke gently. "I am Eldoria, last of the true keepers." Lyra stepped forward, feeling the weight of destiny press upon her. "We seek your guidance to save the valley. The darkness spreads." Eldoria nodded solemnly. "The balance is fragile, but not yet broken. The corrupted keepers you faced are but heralds of a greater threat, the Shadow Sovereign, who once tried to claim the heart's power for himself." Finn swallowed hard. "How do we stop him?" Ildoria's gaze hardened. "By reclaiming the ancient relics of the keepers scattered across Eldoria. Only together can they restore the heart's true power and banish the Shadow Sovereign forever." A pact forged. Under the moonlit sky, a pact was forged. Lyra, Finn, Kaelin, and Eldoria would journey across the kingdom, uniting the relics and confronting the encroaching darkness. Malric watched silently from the edge of the glade, his true intentions hidden beneath a veil of shadows. As dawn broke over the Emerald Forest, the group prepared to leave, bound by duty, friendship, and the hope of a brighter future. The morning sun filtered through the thick canopy of the Emerald Forest, casting dappled patterns on the forest floor as Lyra and her companions prepared to embark on their quest. The pact they had forged the night before weighed heavily on their hearts, but their resolve was stronger than ever. Eldoria, the last true keeper, unfurled an ancient map, its parchment brittle but etched with glowing sigils that pulsed faintly under her touch. "This map reveals the locations of the lost relics," Eldoria explained. "Each holds a fragment of the heart's power. Together, they can restore balance and defeat the Shadow Sovereign." Finn studied the map intently. "Where do we begin?" Ildoria's gaze settled on a distant mountain range, the jagged peaks silhouetted against the horizon. "The first relic lies within the Stormspear Mountains, a place of fierce winds and ancient guardians." Kaelin checked his supplies. "Then we must move quickly. The Shadow Sovereign's influence grows stronger with each passing day." As they journeyed toward the mountains, the group encountered challenges that tested their skills and spirit. The forest grew darker and more twisted, the air thick with enchantments that played tricks on their minds. One evening, while camping beside a crystal-clear stream, Lyra confided in Eldoria, "Sometimes I wonder if I'm truly ready for this. The power I hold is new, and the weight of the valley's fate is daunting." Eldoria smiled gently. "Strength is born from doubt and perseverance. Remember, Lyra, the heart chose you because of your courage and compassion." Finn chimed in with a grin, "And because she's the best carver this side of Eldoria. Don't sell yourself short." The warmth of their camaraderie eased Lyra's worries, and the fire's glow mirrored the growing hope within her. Stormspear Mountains, the first trial. Upon reaching the base of the Stormspear Mountains, fierce winds whipped around them, carrying icy whispers that cut through their cloaks. Jagged rocks loomed, and the path ahead was steep and treacherous. Guarding the mountain pass was a colossal stone sentinel, a golem carved from the very rock of the mountainside, its eyes glowing with ancient magic. "You seek the relic," the sentinel rumbled, voice echoing like thunder. "Prove your worth." The group braced for battle, but Eldoria stepped forward, raising her hands in a gesture of peace. "We do not seek to fight, but to restore. Allow us passage, and we vow to honor the balance." The golem's eyes flickered, and after a tense moment, it stepped aside, allowing them through. Inside a cavern glittering with crystals, the first relic awaited, a radiant amulet shaped like an olive leaf, pulsing with the heartbeat of the valley. As Lyra reached out, a shadowy figure appeared, an agent of the Shadow Sovereign, sent to claim the relic for darkness. The ensuing battle tested their unity and courage, with each member wielding their unique gifts. Lyra's blades danced with light, Finn's agility dazzled, Kaelin's spells fortified, and Eldora's ancient magic protected. Together, they overcame the darkness, securing the amulet. Bonds strengthened. As they emerged victorious, the group felt their bond deepen, the trials forging them into more than companions, a family united by purpose. Yet, the road ahead promised even greater dangers. Eldora's voice was steady but grave. "The next relic lies beneath the sunken citadel, hidden deep within Eldoria's enchanted marshlands. The Shadow Sovereign's power grows, we must not falter." With renewed determination, they set their sights on the marshes, unaware of the watchful eyes that followed their every move. The journey from the Stormspear Mountains to the Eldoria marshlands was arduous and treacherous. Thick mists curled over stagnant waters, and the air hung heavy with the scent of moss and decay. The marshes were alive with whispers, the voices of lost souls trapped between worlds. Lyra, Finn, Kaelin, and Eldoria tread carefully along winding paths of weathered wood and moss-covered stones, each step a silent prayer for safe passage. Rune moved ahead, his nose twitching as if sensing unseen dangers lurking beneath the water's surface. As they ventured deeper, the marsh seemed to shift around them. The trees twisted unnaturally, their branches reaching like grasping fingers. Shadows flitted at the edge of their vision, and strange lights danced just beyond reach. Eldoria halted suddenly. "We have entered the Vale of Illusions, a realm where reality bends and the mind can be deceived." Finn shivered. "Feels like the marsh itself is watching us." Lyra clutched the glowing olive leaf amulet they had claimed from the Stormspear Mountains. Its light pulsed steadily, a beacon of hope amid the creeping darkness. Suddenly, the path behind them vanished beneath rising waters. They were trapped. The test of perception. As panic threatened to take hold, the group realized the veil would challenge not their strength, but their minds. Each was forced to confront their deepest fears and doubts through visions crafted by the marsh's ancient magic. Lyra found herself alone in a dark forest, hearing the voices of her family calling for help, only to vanish into silence. She struggled against the overwhelming guilt of leaving them vulnerable. Finn faced illusions of failure, his village destroyed, friends lost, his own hands stained with defeat. Kaelin was confronted with the betrayal that had shattered the Keepers centuries ago, visions of trusted allies turning to darkness. Eldoria saw the slow decay of the valley, the heart of the grove fading into nothingness. But through their struggles, they found strength in each other's memories and bonds. Calling out across the illusions, they reached for one another, breaking the veil's hold. The sunken citadel emerges. Breaking free, they reached the ruins of the sunken citadel, an ancient fortress half submerged in the marsh's murky waters. Ivy and moss clung to crumbling stone walls, and the air buzzed with lingering enchantments. At the citadel's heart lay the second relic, a crystalline orb radiating calm and clarity. But the Shadow Sovereign's minions were already there, led by Malric, the enigmatic stranger whose true allegiance had yet to be revealed. "Did you really think it would be so easy?" Malric's voice slithered through the mist. A fierce battle erupted among the ruins, spells igniting the air, blades clashing against shadowy foes. Lyra and her companions fought with all their might, protecting the relic at all costs. In the chaos, Malric revealed his true colors, a servant of the Shadow Sovereign, bound by dark promises. A desperate escape. Though wounded, the group managed to reclaim the orb and flee the collapsing citadel, the marsh rising as if alive to swallow their pursuers. Panting and battered, they regrouped at the edge of the forest. "We must warn the valley," Eldoria urged. "The Shadow Sovereign grows stronger. Our quest is no longer just for the relics, it's for the survival of Eldoria." Lyra nodded, determination blazing in her eyes. "Then we will face whatever comes next, together." The sun dipped below the horizon as Lyra and her companions made their way back through the dense woodlands toward Whispering Hollow. The weight of their recent victory and escape hung heavy on their shoulders, but it was the gathering darkness that truly unsettled them. The Eldoria marshlands had revealed the enemy's reach, Malric's true allegiance to the Shadow Sovereign now undeniable, and the power of the second relic within their grasp only heightened the urgency of their mission. As the trees thinned and familiar hills rose in the distance, an eerie silence settled around them, as if the very valley held its breath. A village under siege. Approaching Dallin's Rest, the group was greeted not by the usual bustling activity but by a scene of quiet chaos. Villagers hurried to and fro, faces marked with worry and fear. Smoke rose faintly in the distance, and the sweet scent of olives was tinged with something acrid. Lyra's heart clenched. What happened here? An elder approached, his eyes wide with urgency. Darkness stirs in the valley. The bandits, some have turned violent, raiding nearby farms and threatening the peace. Finn stepped forward, fists clenched. We must act before the Shadow Sovereign's influence spreads further. Kaelin and Eldoria exchanged grave looks. The time for seeking relics alone was ending, they had to protect their home now. The Council of Elders. That night, beneath a sky thick with stars, a council gathered in the village square. Leaders, elders, and brave souls came together, united by fear and hope. Lyra stood before them, amulet glowing softly at her neck. She recounted their journey, the trials faced, and the growing threat of the Shadow Sovereign. Ildoria's voice rang clear. The darkness corrupts not just the bandits, but hearts and lands alike. We must stand united. for only through unity can the valley survive. A plan formed to rally the villagers, fortify the defenses, and prepare for the inevitable clash. Training and preparing. Days passed in a whirlwind of preparation. Narrated taught the villagers to wield simple enchantments learned from the keeper's lore. Callan led patrols, scouting for signs of bandit movements. Finn, quick and cunning, trained the youth in stealth and survival. Rune became a symbol of hope, his fierce loyalty inspiring courage in even the faintest hearts. Amidst the toil, moments of quiet connection blossomed. Lyra and Finn shared stories by the fire, their friendship deepening. Eldoria and Callan debated strategies, their bond forged in shared purpose. An unexpected visitor. One evening, a figure cloaked in white approached the village gates. A messenger from the distant kingdom of Eldoria, bearing news and a summons. The High Council has learned of your quest, the messenger announced. They offer aid but warn of greater dangers. The Shadow Sovereign's reach extends beyond the valley. Your journey must now unite all of Eldoria. Lyra felt the enormity of their task grow. The fate of not just Whispering Hollow, but the entire kingdom, rested on their shoulders. The first assault. Before they could fully prepare, the bandits struck. Under the cover of night, shadows moved like a tide, sweeping toward Dallin's Rest with deadly intent. The villagers, armed with newfound courage and Lyra's enchantments, stood their ground. Blades clashed, spells ignited the darkness, and the air filled with the cries of battle. Lyra fought fiercely, her blades of light carving paths through the enemy. Finn darted through the chaos, striking with precision. Callan and Eldoria wove protective wards that shielded the defenders. Rune led a charge, scattering foes, and rallying the villagers. Though outnumbered, the defenders held, but the cost was high. Aftermath and resolve. As dawn broke, the valley lay scarred but unbroken. The bandits retreated, their hunger for power momentarily checked. Lyra stood amidst the aftermath, breath ragged but spirit unyielding. We have faced the darkness, she said, voice steady. But our journey is far from over. We must seek the remaining relics, unite Eldoria, and end this shadow once and for all. Her companions nodded, determination burning in their eyes. Together, they would face whatever the future held. The battle for Dallin's Rest had left its mark on the valley's scorched earth, broken branches, and weary hearts. Yet, amid the ruin, a fierce resolve burned brighter than ever. Lyra and her companions understood that this was but the prelude to a greater storm looming over Eldoria. As dawn painted the sky with hues of amber and rose, the group gathered beneath the ancient olive tree that stood sentinel over the village. Its twisted limbs seemed to pulse with an ancient energy, a silent witness to the unfolding saga. Eldoria unfurled the ancient map once more, its glowing sigils now revealing new paths and hidden locations. The next relic lies within the crystal caverns, deep beneath the Frostvale Mountains. It holds the power of clarity and insight essential for confronting the Shadow Sovereign. Callan traced the route with a finger, his brow furrowed. The Frost Vale is a land of perpetual ice and treacherous terrain. Few have returned from its depths. Finn cracked his knuckles with a grin. Well, that just means it's perfect for us. Lyra smiled softly but felt the weight of their quest heavy in her chest. We must be prepared for anything. The Shadow Sovereign's minions will not wait idly. Whispers of the past. Before setting out, Lyra sought counsel from the village elder, Myra, a wise woman whose knowledge of Eldoria's history was unparalleled. In Myra's humble cottage, lined with scrolls and ancient tomes, Lyra listened intently as the elder recounted forgotten legends. The keepers once wielded 3 sacred relics, Myra explained: the heart of the grove, the crystal of clarity, and the flame of renewal. Their unity maintained the balance. But when the order was shattered, the relics were hidden to protect them from darkness. Myra's gaze grew distant. The Shadow Sovereign desires them all not for balance, but for dominion. Lyra's fingers tightened around the amulet. We must find the crystal before he does. Into the Frost Vale. The journey to the Frost Vale Mountains was fraught with peril. Snowstorms howled, and icy winds cut through even the thickest cloaks. The terrain was unforgiving: slippery ice, hidden crevasses, and the constant threat of avalanches. The group pressed on, guided by Eldora's magic and Kaelin's survival skills. Finn's quick wit and agility proved invaluable in navigating the shifting ice. One evening, as they camped beneath towering glaciers, Lyra felt a strange sensation. A whispering voice carried on the wind, calling her name. She awoke to find the camp shrouded in an unnatural silence. Suddenly, shadows emerged from the swirling snow. Ethereal wraiths bound to the Shadow Sovereign, their hollow eyes glowing with malevolence. A fierce battle erupted amidst the blizzard. Lyra's blade sliced through the icy specters, their light pushing back the darkness. Kaelin chanted protective wards, while Eldora unleashed bursts of arcane energy. Finn darted between the shadows, his dagger flashing. Rune growled fiercely, defending his pack. When the last wraith dissipated into the storm, the group was exhausted but alive. The Crystal Caverns. Beyond the icy peaks, a cavern entrance gleamed like a jewel. The Crystal Caverns. Inside, the walls shimmered with colossal formations of quartz and ice, reflecting and refracting light in dazzling displays. The air thrummed with potent magic. At the cavern's heart rested the Crystal of Clarity, a massive gem radiating pure, piercing light. But guarding it was a sentinel of living ice, a creature forged from the mountain itself. The sentinel spoke in a voice like grinding glaciers: only those pure of heart and purpose may claim the crystal. Lyra stepped forward, her voice steady. We seek to restore balance, to protect the valley and all of Eldoria from darkness. The sentinel's icy gaze softened, and with a nod, it stepped aside. Revelations and resolve. As Lyra grasped the crystal, visions flooded her mind: glimpses of Eldoria's past, the Keeper's sacrifices, and the true nature of the Shadow Sovereign. She saw that the Sovereign was once a Keeper corrupted by ambition, his heart twisted by the desire for absolute control. The path ahead would demand unity, sacrifice, and unwavering courage. The group emerged from the caverns, the crystal glowing softly in Lyra's hand. The storm outside had calmed, but the gathering shadow remained. Eldoria looked to the horizon. Our journey grows darker, but together, we hold the light. The air in Whispering Hollow grew thick with tension as news of the Crystal Cavern's discovery spread. The Shadow Sovereign, sensing his grip on Eldoria weakening, unleashed his full wrath upon the valley. Dark clouds rolled in swiftly, blotting out the sun as a chilling wind swept through the olive groves. The Blackthorn bandits, now fully corrupted and bound to the Sovereign's will, gathered in force, their banners black as night fluttering ominously. Lyra stood on the ridge overlooking Dalen's Rest, her amulet, and the crystal of clarity glowing softly against the approaching storm. "We knew this day would come," Eldoria said solemnly. "The final battle is upon us." The battle commences. As the bandit forces surged down the hills toward the village, the defenders rallied. Villagers armed with enchanted weapons and spells stood shoulder to shoulder with Lyra and her companions. The clash was thunderous. Arrows darkened the sky, swords rang against armor, and spells lit the battlefield in bursts of fire and light. Lyra's blade sang as she moved through the fray, her magic weaving protective barriers around the villagers. Rune led charges that scattered enemy lines, his fierce growls echoing over the tumult. Finn darted through shadows, taking down key enemies with deadly precision. Kaelin and Eldoria coordinated the magical defenses, their powers intertwined like a shield of light. Despite the odds, the defenders held, but the tide of battle was far from decided. Betrayal in the ranks. Amidst the chaos, whispers of treachery emerged. One of the village's trusted allies, consumed by greed and fear, had struck a dark bargain with the Shadow Sovereign. At a critical moment, gates meant to protect Dalen's Rest were sabotaged, allowing enemy forces to breach the inner defenses. Lyra, sensing the betrayal, raced to confront the traitor. The revelation cut deep. A once respected elder now serving the darkness. A fierce confrontation ensued beneath the ancient olive tree. Words of accusation and regret echoed before the traitor fled, disappearing into the shadows. The turning point. As despair threatened to overwhelm, Lyra remembered the lessons from her trials. Drawing upon the heart of the grove and the crystal of clarity, she unleashed a radiant wave of magic that washed over the battlefield. The light purified corrupted souls, weakened the bandits' resolve, and rekindled hope in the hearts of the defenders. Inspired, the villagers pushed back, turning the tide. The Shadow Sovereign's forces faltered and retreated, leaving behind a battered but victorious village. A new dawn. In the aftermath, as the sun broke through storm clouds, the valley breathed a collective sigh of relief. Lyra and her companions knew this victory was but one chapter in a larger tale. The final relic awaited, and the Shadow Sovereign's ultimate power still loomed. But with bonds forged in fire and hearts alight with hope, they were ready. Together, they would face the darkness and bring the dawn. The journey to claim the last relic, the Flame of Renewal, led Lyra and her companions beyond the known lands of Eldoria, into the forgotten depths of the Obsidian Abyss, a realm where darkness and light danced in eternal conflict. The air was thick with ancient magic, shadows swirling like living storms around jagged cliffs and molten rivers. It was said the flame burned at the heart of this abyss, guarded by trials that would test every fiber of one's being. The burden of destiny. As they ventured deeper, Lyra felt the full weight of her role. The three relics she carried: the heart of the grove, the crystal of clarity, and soon the flame of renewal, were not merely artifacts but pieces of her own soul and the collective hope of the valley and kingdom. Kaelin's quiet strength, Finn's fearless spirit, Illyra's wisdom, and Rune's unwavering loyalty were more than companions, they were her family and her strength. Trials of fire and shadow. Within the abyss, they faced visions of despair, illusions crafted by the Shadow Sovereign to fracture their unity. Flames danced threateningly, and shadows whispered lies designed to turn them against each other. But their bond, forged through trials and battles, held firm. Lyra stepped into the chamber of the flame, a radiant inferno burning without heat but with pure, renewing light. As she reached out, the flame recognized her heart, pure, determined, and unyielding. The Shadow Sovereign revealed. Suddenly, the Shadow Sovereign appeared, his form towering and shrouded in darkness, eyes burning with fury and regret. "You cannot undo what has been set in motion," he declared. The final battle erupted: light against shadow, hope against despair. Lyra wielded the relic's combined power, a symphony of magic that sang through the abyss. Finn and Kaelin fought alongside her, while Illyra chanted spells that bound the Sovereign's power. Rune leapt bravely into the fray, a beacon of loyalty, sacrifice and triumph. In a moment of profound sacrifice, Illyra offered herself to contain the Shadow Sovereign's essence, binding him within the abyss and sealing the darkness away. Her light merged with the flame of renewal, casting a radiant dawn across Eldoria. Return to the valley. With the darkness sealed and the relics united, Lyra and her companions returned to Whispering Hollow. The valley bloomed anew, olive trees heavy with fruit, skies clear, and hearts filled with peace. Lyra's carving, now legendary, told the tale of hope, courage, and unity. A new era. As the sun set on the horizon, Lyra stood beneath the ancient olive tree, Rune by her side, and looked toward the future. The story of Eldoria was not just one of battle but of enduring light and the bonds that hold us all. Title: Whispers of Eldoria, The Keeper's Legacy. Description: In the mystical valley of Whispering Hollow, young carver Lyra discovers she is the chosen guardian destined to protect Eldoria from an ancient darkness. Joined by loyal companions, she embarks on a perilous quest to reclaim three sacred relics: the heart of the grove, the crystal of clarity, and the flame of renewal that hold the power to restore, balance and banish the malevolent Shadow Sovereign. Facing betrayal, fierce battles, and her deepest fears, Lyra's journey is one of courage, unity, and sacrifice. Will the light of hope prevail and save the valley and kingdom from eternal shadow? Dive into this epic fantasy saga of magic, destiny, and the enduring strength of friendship.